Okay, we're on episode 5. What's this thing called again that we're doing? 12-hour podcast?
12-hour podcast, yeah, where we talk about random stuff.
Yeah, yeah. We're talking about just whatever happens to be on our mind at the time.
Exactly.
Yeah,
That's the goal, right?
that's the goal for now. Anyways, I mean, until maybe we decide to change things up. Maybe we have like some some viewers who decide that they really like certain things that we talk about, or they want to see the podcast move in a particular direction. Maybe at some point we let this be guided in terms of how we run this podcast. Maybe we let it be guided by subscribers.
Yeah, that would make much more sense to have the flow of the channel in a particular direction.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right now, yeah, we are winging it and we don't know if it works out or not.
Yeah,
But
there's only one way to
somewhere
find out.
I heard somewhere that the social media is nowadays favoring the newer channels somehow.
Hmm. Well, that's good
Have
news
you
for
seen that
us.
happen? Yeah, but it doesn't seem so. Are we that bad or something?
Well, I mean, in all fairness, this is only our I guess sixth
Hmm.
posting, fifth episode. So, you got to be fair. You got to be fair and reasonable. I don't think it's reasonable to expect that after 5 episodes that we would be seeing all kinds of, uh, that we would see all kinds of action. I think we've got to give it time. That's my opinion. So, for those few subscribers that we do have, not many, it's 4. Feel free to leave a comment. Just say hello. It's nice to know that the two of us are not alone. So leave a comment. Just say hello. Put a smiley face. Something. So we know you're out there. We know that you're alive. We know that you're viewing, and it would mean a lot. It would be very touching. Wouldn't it, Amit?
Yeah, and you can even mention what species you're from.
Yeah. Mention what planet you're from, and mention what type of animal you are. There's a lot of weirdness with that, by the way. Like, all joking aside, there's a lot of weirdness. Like, people out there that think they're cats. You heard about
Yeah, I've
that?
heard that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a new gender itself.
Yeah. Because being a cat is a gender.
Because is that something like, I don't want to be offensive, and I hope it doesn't blow up or something. But is it
There's
something
very
like
few
if
people.
they
I'm not too worried about it. There's gonna be very few people. I doubt it highly that we'll ever
that I'll
have
be in trouble?
somebody that will be viewing this that will be thinking of themselves or referring to themselves as the gender of cat. I'll bet that won't ever happen. We'll never have a viewer like that. So say what you want to say.
Okay. So, if you are cat somehow, sorry, but here's the thing. This is my genuine question.
Yeah.
If someone identifies their gender as a cat,
Mm.
are they sexually attracted towards cats?
That's a
If
good
so, then
question.
male cat. If
That's a,
so, then male cat or female cat.
that's a great. Maybe
Then
just
we'll
both.
need to.
Maybe there's no discrimination.
No, but maybe again, then we'll need two more genders instead of cat. We'll need M cat and F cat.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe there already. I bet you there already are. I bet you that already exists.
And
All
then
these
there has to
things.
be H cat, that is hermaphrodite cat. We are eventually gonna need
Then
that,
there's gonna be trans cat.
of course.
Yeah.
Why leave her behind?
Yeah.
Or him?
Like
Again, I'm assuming. Sorry.
yeah, trans cat that's like actually a dog, but in a like in a like
Cat's body.
in a cat in a cat's body. Yeah. Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe you identify as a dog, but you happen to believe that you're in a cat's body.
How are they ever gonna come out the closet?
I don't know. I don't know. It's wild. Or out of the doghouse.
Oh man, we are being so insensitive.
No, I don't think so. I think we're being funny. That's what I think. By the way, I like your
But
shirt. I'm
thanks. I
like,
love this shirt, but I rarely wear it.
yeah, looking at that shirt, it makes me believe that I'm on a beach.
Exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's why I call it the Goa shirt because it really makes me feel I'm in Goa. The shirt is really very soft and light.
Oh, nice. Okay. Well, there you go. Perfect. So you were talking about a festival. First of all,
Yeah.
let's do this. What time is it there right now?
This is 8:48 a.m. here.
8:48 a.m. and for me it's 22:18. I go by
Okay.
European or military time, which is
Hmm.
10:18 p.m. for most people.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I keep my watches and clocks in 24-hour format as well.
It's easier because I've made the mistake so many times where I go to
Of
set an
AM, PM.
alarm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I set an alarm for PM when it should be AM or vice versa. So now this eliminates the chance of ever doing that.
Uh, That reminds me of one Seinfeld episode. Are you a fan of Seinfeld?
I love Seinfeld.
Yeah. So you might remember that episode where a marathon runner comes and lives with Seinfeld and Elaine, and he has this problem of always messing up with the alarm.
I don't remember that episode. Now I'm going to have to watch it.
His name was John Paul, the marathon runner
Okay. I'm going to have to look it up.
from Jamaica, I guess.
Okay. Interesting. So, and how did they know this guy again? This is a guy that Elaine was dating or what?
Even I'm not sure on that how they got acquainted, but maybe they met somewhere in some conference or something.
Okay.
Because Elaine used to travel, she was a writer and
Yeah.
she used to meet people.
I remember that. Peterson was her boss, right?
Yeah, first I think it was Peterson, then it was Peterman, J. Peterman,
Or Peterman. Yeah, that's it. Peterman. Yeah, it's
Peterman
Peterman.
catalog.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Okay, I'll have to look it up. So anyway, so tell me about
Yeah,
this festival.
sure. So this is one of the biggest festivals in India,
Okay.
and yesterday all streets were empty and people were gathering near the temples to celebrate the day of Lord Shiva.
Okay.
So the name of the festival is Mahashivratri, which literally means the night of the great Shiva.
Okay.
So Shiv, as you know, is one of the strongest gods, and there are three major gods in India, and Shiv is one of them. And Shiv has a lot of power of destruction. He is known to be the angry god. So there is this tradition that we offer milk to him, milk, water, and other liquids, so we can pacify the god.
So you're supposed to give milk, water, and other liquids to him.
Yeah.
Okay. And you do this on this festival day, or you could do it at any time.
You can do it on any day, but this day is the most important one for
Okay.
him,
Okay. So in
for his
particular,
followers.
out of all days, if you're going to do it on any particular day, this would be the day to do it on. What if
Right.
you did it like, and this is going to sound like a silly question. And it's really not meant to be silly, although it sounds silly. But what if you just hypothetically offered liquids to Shiva throughout the entire year, but you missed this one day? But you did every other day. Would that be frowned upon?
Interesting. I'm trying to think if that is even a possibility because the kind of religiousness that goes on in India,
Hmm.
I'm really, really skeptical unless the person goes into coma or something on that particular day. I don't see that happening.
Right. But just hypothetical scenario.
That's extremely hypothetical. You can
Yeah.
imagine the kind of dedication and devotion people have here
Mm.
that I can't even imagine that.
It's interesting. So Shiva in my culture, okay, so Shiva is not a god. Um, it's
Ritual.
it's a ritual. Well, is it a ritual? I don't know if it's really considered to be a ritual, but anyways, a Shiva happens. It's maybe an occasion, I guess you could say, or an event. A Shiva happens at a Shiva house. And a Shiva house typically will happen at a person's home that had very recently passed away. So you do a
Mm,
Shiva, you hold, or you, and it's even called sitting Shiva
mhm.
to remember person who passed away. And you do a whole bunch of specific things. Like you're supposed to like cover mirrors. You're not supposed to be able to see yourself or look at yourself. I don't know the reasoning behind that. Some stuff that we can look into potentially. But you cover mirrors. You say certain prayers at certain times of the day with certain frequency, and yeah, and it's just to sort of commemorate and remember that person. Yeah,
Mm.
yeah. So anyway, so just side note. I'm getting
Yeah,
sidetracked.
yeah, I understand. Shiva might remind you of the wake that you sit for 7 days.
Yeah, yeah. It's like a wake. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Mm. Yeah, we have that tradition over here as well, where people visit you, I think for 12 or 13 days. I think it's 12 days. So 12 days right from the day the person passed away.
Okay.
So these 12 days, everybody comes, pays their respect, share some memories, and
Yeah,
cry if
yeah.
something like that happens.
Sure.
So yeah, so we have a 12-day week instead of 7.
Okay. Interesting. And yeah, I don't know exactly how many days it actually is for us. I'm not sure, but yeah, yeah, something that we could definitely look into. But I want to first learn more about this. So I want to learn more about this
Shivratri.
festival. Yeah.
Okay. So I already mentioned how we offer our respect to Lord Shiva by offering milk and liquids.
Yeah.
So because Shiva was known to be a fan of liquids, different. One of them was in fact alcohol,
Sure.
and the other was Bhang.
What's that?
Bhang is cannabis juice.
Oh, I like this god.
So on this day, Bhang is kind of legal everywhere.
Okay. Interesting. Just on
So
this one
on
day.
other days, yeah, on other days it can be a problem. It can get you into trouble. But on this day, it's legally distributed among the people, and every year I consume some of it, and I really get into a different zone after that.
Sure. Of course you do. Has to be expected.
Yeah, and it's always been a fun experience. I've always become a different person after I've consumed some of it.
Sure. Sure. Um, that's really interesting. And then, but I thought alcohol is sort of, I don't know if
Taboo.
it's, yeah, it's a little more taboo or frowned upon or not, or considered to be something that you're not supposed to drink culturally in India. So is it just on this one day kind of thing that it's okay? Or, and I also wonder what, like having, it's very interesting that it's typically something that is considered to be not part of the Indian culture. Again, from my limited understanding, but then you have a god that you would provide alcohol and this cannabis drink to. That seems very contradicting.
I know that's why Lord Shiva is extremely different than others because he was someone who always surprised people.
Okay.
And I'm sure there is some deep philosophy behind it, which I might not be aware of. But what he used to basically teach people was that you have to be in your meditative zone, you have to be in yourself, immerse yourself in so much that even alcohol and drugs cannot affect you.
Interesting.
And even if you ever have to consume garbage, you will do that without having a smirk or any reaction.
So it's like you're
And he
so strong. It's like a test. It's like you're so strong in your
may,
mind that nothing
yeah,
will affect you and your ability to, conduct yourself as you regularly would if you were not under the influence of any of these things.
exactly. Yeah, that is my philosophy behind it.
Okay.
So I'm not really sure that if this philosophy is taught to people or not. I'm pretty sure it is not taught to most of them because India is very symbolic, symbolically religious country. They take symbols literally
Okay.
when they are supposed to be taken metaphorically.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. I wonder
So
why that
every god
is.
has
What?
many.
Why do you think
Every
that
god has
is?
many
That
symbols, many. If you will see a picture of any god, you will see at least 10 objects around it, and each object has a lesson or a story behind it. Like
not
for Lord Shiva, the story is of his throat. He has blue throat,
a blue throat.
blue throat. So why did his throat become blue? The answer is once people were fetching this magical liquid out of earth, and Lord Shiva drank it first because he wanted to detoxify that liquid.
Okay.
So it was a magical liquid. He drank it first. All the toxins were gathered in his throat, and his throat became blue from the poison or the toxin.
That seems so random.
And yeah, the remaining liquid is the magical elixir called Amrit.
Hmm.
Now, again, if you go literally behind the story, it will feel as you felt random and strange, right?
Sure.
But the story behind this or the lesson behind this is whenever you try something new or whenever you consume something new, or basically, I'm not sure how to put it, or whenever you think about something new, the negative things are the first that come into your mind.
Okay. Sure.
So the toxins basically represent the negativity.
The things that we don't really want to be consuming.
Yeah. So whenever we are trying to start a new business, maybe there are first of all the negative thoughts coming into mind.
Yeah, you had one today.
Me?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, regarding the channel.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can I can say yeah, I was feeling pretty low at that moment, yeah.
Really.
Because
Hmm.
I was just as you remember, I've just come from my sleep here
Yeah.
and I had bhang yesterday. So I'm still maybe under that influence a bit.
That's good. I like that. I like getting I like getting the opportunity to converse with you when you're a little bit under the influence. It's interesting.
Yeah, but I was thinking about it yesterday. If we were to do that 12-hour podcast for real, I think I should be on bhang on that day.
I might have a couple
Because
drinks with you while you do that. I have some tequila in the freezer.
yeah, we can try that. The effect doesn't last for too long, maybe for 3 hours or 4 hours. That is the peak of it.
It's not too bad.
Mhm. Yeah, but the wait, you will never know when it begins.
Hmm.
That's the thing. So I had bhang at around 12 p.m. yesterday, and I was waiting for something to happen, and it finally happened around 6 p.m. So it took 6 hours to kick in.
Wow. It'd be wild to do a 12-hour podcast, and for the entire 12 hours, we're drinking.
That would be a lot.
Just slightly, just a little bit. Like it doesn't mean like nonstop. Just like periodically, take a little sip.
Right.
But still,
Yeah,
over the course of 12
maybe with
hours, you could go through a lot.
yeah, with beer, maybe we can do that. But hard liquor would be very difficult.
I could do it with tequila.
Uh,
I
maybe
don't
we
know if
can
I should
think
be
about
bragging
it.
about that, but I could do it. I could do it with tequila.
No, I'm pretty sure I won't be able to do it because the amount I drink, that is one quarter,
Hmm.
180 ml. That's enough for me, and
Okay.
I don't see that lasting for 12 hours.
Hmm. Yeah, I have like I got a nice 40-ounce bottle in the freezer. I got a couple of those and some Grand Marnier. I like to make myself margaritas.
Uh,
Yeah. Yeah, with like real, I like to use real fruit juice and lime juice. So not the sugar
yeah, yeah.
stuff. Yeah. I actually
Alcohol
like,
actually tastes great in juices,
yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure. 100%.
orange juice for sure.
Yeah. I like to take, like, I'll get a bag of limes and then like a nice big bag from Costco. And then I'll cut them all up and I'll just I have like a thing that you use to squeeze juice, squeeze all the juice out. And then I'll put it in an ice tray and I'll make like lime cubes out of it.
Hmm.
And then that way I've got fresh lime juice anytime I want for margaritas. Or really for anything else if I want, but I tend to use it for margaritas. And then I'll do the same thing with like, I usually get bags of, because Costco's got these amazing bags of frozen fruit, which I love to thaw out because the fruit ends up tasting so sweet once it's thawed out, and then the juice is left over. So I'll even take the juice and I'll freeze those into cubes, and then I can add that into the margaritas as well. It's pretty good.
That's basically a prep for drinking.
Yeah, 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 absolutely. So that way I can just get it going whenever. I have a rule though. I will only drink if I have company because
Okay,
I never want to get into the habit of drinking alone. That's a
hmm,
bad habit to get
understood.
into. Yeah, it's a really bad habit because that can get like completely overboard very quickly. It can become something where you're just drinking very often, and that's
Hmm.
bad. So only drinking when I have company, and that's it.
Yeah, especially if you're living alone.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, super dangerous. Super dangerous. I know people like that. That they'll make drinks like they'll just have maybe a. I think like you could have a beer with dinner maybe once a week or something like that alone. I think that's okay. But if you start doing that every night, that's bad. Or like, half a glass of wine or something like that, maybe once a week, it's okay. But if you start doing like hard liquor and like mixing drinks, I don't know. There's something about that that seems like really a bad idea. Even to do that one time alone seems like a bad idea to me.
Hmm. In fact, yesterday I had bhang alone. This is the first time I had it alone.
Okay.
Usually, every year I have a cousin or even my sister or my aunt. Someone is there who accompanies, someone who I can talk to, and then it's all jokes and all after that.
Sure.
But yeah, usually every year there is someone with me. But yesterday, everyone was busy with their own stuff, and I was having it alone.
Okay.
And maybe that is the reason it took so long to kick in,
Maybe. Maybe. I
because
think
I was
that's
just sitting
okay.
alone. And
Yeah. I think that's okay. Like, because it's a once a year thing.
yeah, it's
So that's fine.
I'm I doubt it will happen again.
Yeah.
But yeah, but it's not once a year. We are also allowed to drink bhang on Holi.
Okay.
Holi is a color festival, if you know about this.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Of course, of course. Yeah, I know that. You they got like
Yeah, festival
the
of colors.
yeah. A lot of people will like have paints and things like that. They just will spray it everywhere, and everybody gets all full of paint. And I've seen that stuff. Yeah, that's looks like fun.
Yeah, yeah. Not paint exactly.
It's
These
like
are
this
organic
powdery
colors.
stuff, right?
Yeah, it's called gulal.
Gulal. Okay. Yeah, that looks like fun. I mean,
Yeah,
does it stick to
it
your
is
clothes?
actually yeah. We have to throw out those clothes.
It'll never come off, I guess.
Yeah, so we make sure that we are wearing the oldest pair of clothes that we have,
Hmm.
that we don't mind getting ruined.
How easy is it to come out of your hair?
It may take more than one day.
Okay. Okay.
It may not happen the same day. You
Okay.
can see your fingernails being pink and colory for a few days
Sure.
because the color gets inside the nails.
Sure. Okay. Sounds like fun
Yeah,
though. That sounds like fun.
yeah, yeah. That's why we have to make sure that we are using organic colors because some of that is definitely gonna enter our system.
Oh yeah, for sure. Oh yeah, yeah. I would imagine. Definitely. Yeah, I didn't think of that. Yeah, you're breathing
Mm.
that in, which cannot be good for your lungs.
Mm. But surprisingly, they say it is edible, so we have to believe them
That's what it said.
on the package.
Yeah, that's what you're told.
Yeah,
I don't know how much I believe that, but whatever. Okay.
yeah, but it's possible to make it. Like we have wheat flour, we can just mix edible food color into that, and it can turn any color.
But I wonder how okay that is for your lungs to breathe in still. Like that, I can't imagine that that's
That's
okay for your lungs.
yeah, that could be a problem.
Yeah. Even if it's organic materials, I mean, there's lots of organic materials you don't want to be breathing in, right?
Yeah, for like example, pollen grains.
Mm-hmm. Or like silica.
Silica. I'm not sure if
Yeah.
silica can be called organic.
Well, I mean, it is, right? Because silica is made from fossilized seashells, as far as I know.
Mm, mm.
Yeah. Like, have you ever heard of diatomaceous earth?
Sorry,
Yeah, diatomaceous earth.
diatomaceous earth.
Yeah.
Is that like two layers of earth?
No, it's food grade silica. So like the silica you get in like the little packages. It's to make sure that things stay dry. Like you might see it in your clothes.
Yeah,
It's in
silica gel.
the gels, right? So this
Yeah.
is food grade silica. So you could like there's some people that will put it in water and drink it to like there's this supposed to be it's supposed to be very cleansing to do. I don't think there's a lot of scientific research done on it, but I know a lot of people do it. I've heard people saying it will strengthen your nails and your hair. It'll cleanse your body if you have any potential like parasites or anything like that. It will just get rid of those. So some people drink
Mm.
it, but a common
Sounds like yeah, sounds like magnesium.
yeah, magnesium I think is different because that for sure is okay to consume, right? Um, and that has like a whole bunch of other benefits. I know magnesium is really important to have in our diets, to a certain amount of it, but I don't think silica is looked at as a necessity as part of our diet. I
Yeah,
think
this is
there's
in fact the first time I'm listening of it. Like
yeah.
silica being a nutrient.
Yeah, I don't think
Uh,
it's really a nutrient per se. I don't think it's looked at still as like a nutrient. I think it's looked at as more like something that's supposed to like cleanse your body. Yeah.
mm,
It's like for these people that do these like detoxes or whatnot. But one of the best uses, I think, is as a very natural. not really bug repellent, but like bug infestation management. So
Okay.
what you do is, and I actually do this around my place, is you put a very 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 light coating of it, like along your the baseboards, and like I'll put some even like under my mattress because I sleep on a mattress straight on the floor. I don't have a
Mm-hmm.
bed. I just have a mattress
Okay.
on the floor. So I put like a bunch under my mattress as well, just in case there's any sort of like sometimes you might get here. It's not. It's pretty common here. I think it's more common than people realize. Is you'll get like little tiny um, carpet beetles, and
Uh,
they're not harmful, but I think it's pretty common, and they like to nestle inside the fabric of all kinds of different household products, but especially mattresses. And then you'll get like you might even get like their larvae, which tend to be like really really small and kind of reddish color. Anyways, so I put just to prevent any chance of like tracking that kind of stuff in, and then maybe it turns into something. I put a bunch of that underneath my mattress, in between the floor and the mattress, and then I put a whole bunch of it along the baseboards just in case. Yeah, sometimes you might get here. You might also get what are called silverfish. I'm not sure if you're familiar with silverfish.
silverfish.
Silverfish, they're a bug. It's not a fish. So strange that we call it silverfish because it's not a fish. It has nothing to do with being a fish. It doesn't even look like a fish. Yeah, but it's a bug. It's a bug with like
Okay.
I think 8 legs, and it's silver y looking. Yeah, and they're about maybe they could be about this big, give or take.
Wow.
Yeah, like
We
from
don't
here to
have
here.
that.
Yeah, here to there, but that long, and about like that wide. Yeah, something like that.
Wow.
Yeah, so they're like these
So
little.
it's almost like a flying cockroach.
They're like little creepy crawlers. Yeah, and they're just like well, you might find them on the ground. They're very common. I think more common in condos in apartment buildings because they kind of like to be somewhere where there's a lot of moisture, and they'll track up the pipes, the
Hmm.
water pipes. They'll make their way up. Anyway, so I put a whole bunch along the baseboards just in case there's ever, because they can become a real problem very quickly. So I put a bunch along the baseboards just in case I get any. Because the idea is that if any of these creatures go over the silica, like clothes, it dries them out. And they're fossilized seashells. So they're very, like, on a microscopic level, they're very sharp.
Oh.
Very, very, very sharp. Like, for me to put in my hand, it seems like flour. It's got like a floury texture, like
Oh.
wheat flour or whatever. But on a microscopic level, it's very sharp. So if they go over that, then they get dried out and like all cut up, and they'll die pretty quick. Yeah,
Wow. That's interesting.
yeah. So if you don't, anyway, so this goes back to what we're talking about. This all came from the idea of like breathing stuff in. This stuff you definitely don't want to be breathing in. Like breathing in like a tiny bit, it's not a big deal. But
Hmm.
if you're breathing in like yeah, too much of it, then it can cause serious lung problems. Definitely. Yeah. So it makes me wonder, like even stuff like flour or whatever. Anyways, like natural products. I don't know how. Like a lot of them are just really not good to breathe in. So I wonder how much of this stuff that comes in these packages that are getting thrown around for like the Holy Festival, if it's okay or not.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, that made me think about something. Like there should be a blood test that would determine how safe is XYZ element for you. Like there are allergens tests
Yeah.
that can determine which product gives you allergy.
Sure.
So similarly, I feel that there should be a test that says, okay, for you, 30 ml of alcohol is safe for you, 30 milligrams of silica is safe, and other elements basically. So yeah, I feel there should be a test like this in the future.
There probably will be. Well, personalized medicine even is becoming a thing.
Mm, it ought to be,
Yeah.
because they are prescribing the same dosages for every person of different sizes, different diet.
Yeah.
I
It's
don't know
like,
how that works.
yeah, these solutions are very blanket. It's like we've got
Yeah.
this one product that seems to work amongst a large population. Let's just give it to everybody. And there's going to be a few people that have really bad reactions to it.
Mm,
But,
definitely.
it's kind of like, you know, oh, well, what can you do? But I think with personalized medicine, that's all going to change, right? Because you'll
Yeah.
be able to tell, you'll be able to know before someone takes something, you'll be able to take their blood and know what medications will be perfect for them for the outcome that they're looking for. I know somebody who has Crohn's, and he's
Crohn's disease.
and he's been on, is it Crohn's, or it's one of those like digestive
Yeah,
issue
it's
kind of.
Crohn's, Crohns,
Yeah, it's.
Crohn's.
I
Yeah.
think there's a number of different of those different diseases or deficiencies or whatever they're called. But anyways, so he's got one of those, and he was on a variety of different medication for many many years. They were trying out this medication, that medication, this medication, so many different medications until eventually they found the one that worked. And in the meantime, he was really suffering, like tremendously, for a long time. And it's tough. I understand it's tough. It's got to be tough on the doctors because they don't necessarily know, right? It's hard to know right now, like what is the best medication for this person, considering, their like their physical workup, however that is. So
Exactly.
with personalized medicine, I think it's all going to change. They're going to know right away. They're going to know immediately.
And soon it may even become a regular thing. Like you can do the checkup daily as you wake up at home, and that will tell you today you are supposed to have this and this.
Yeah, actually, that would be really good. Right, I could tell you exactly what you should be eating, what you should be drinking, how much of everything, maybe even like the optimal time of the day.
Mm. That reminds me of a Black Mirror episode. Are you a fan of Black Mirror?
I've heard a lot about Black Mirror. Tell me about the episode, though.
Okay, so it's an anthology, and every episode is different concept, futuristic concept. So this concept is particularly your phone. So your phone has all the features, everything. It knows about your DNA also. It knows what you need, what your body needs the most right now, and even your mind or soul, what it needs the most.
Okay.
So it will give you everything. You are supposed to drink water right now. You are supposed to eat this food in this quantity, etc. Everything. And the main thing that it offers is your dating partner.
Hmm.
Right now,
Okay.
which dating partner is good for you?
Who's the most optimal dating partner based upon, I guess, a variety of criteria? Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah. So basically, every night it may give you a different dating partner,
Hmm. Every
because
night.
every day, yeah, because every day your physical composition is changing a bit.
Hmm.
So every night you may have to go through a different partner until you find someone who becomes your soulmate. And again, the phone will tell you if they are your soulmate.
That's wild. That'd be concerning if it knew that much.
Now, I don't know if that really makes our living easy or harder, because, of course, like you said, unless there is personalized medicine, there are bound to be side effects. In the same way, unless there is personalized technology, there is always going to be some side effects, rare cases that are going to blow up.
Maybe, but I think any extreme is dangerous,
mm,
right? So that's a pretty extreme thing to have personalized technology across the board. I think like some things are good from that regard in terms of something being very personalized. Like you definitely want, I can't see there being any downsides to having personalized medicine, but I can definitely see a lot of downsides to having personalized technology.
technology.
Yeah. Maybe like knowing enough about you and the different people that are uh that are like within your reach of interacting with. Maybe it
Okay.
can, having a technology make suggestions on who would be best to like interact with on different levels, based upon some criteria that you set. I think there might be something interesting about that. But I think as long as you have the ability in those instances to say like to have some sort of control over it and decision, like you can make certain decisions. Like I want to be able to interact with people that think very differently than me,
Mm,
right? I want to have the opportunity to be able to interact with people that I wouldn't necessarily get along with, just to know what those interactions are like. I think if it's so personalized that you don't have those types of choices, that could be dangerous, because if you're only interacting with people who you would get along with, then you don't necessarily have the opportunity to talk or think about things that are outside the spectrum of what you would maybe consider if you spoke to somebody who
mm.
thought very differently from you.
All
Yeah.
right.
Yeah. And I think there's a danger to that. You end up kind of creating smaller and smaller groups of people. Yeah. And like I don't know. I don't think that's I think there's a danger in doing that. Sort of separating society into smaller and smaller groups. There's I can't remember what there's like a political type of belief system that,
Divide and rule.
yeah, well, there's divide and conquer. Yeah, there's that generally, but I think that's more of like a form of warfare or something like that. Maybe that was part of like the Art of War book. I'm not sure. I'd have to look that up. I want to look that up actually in a moment. Where does that stem from? Unless you know. But I, yeah, there's like some sort of. I want to look this up as well. Actually, let's look up both things. I want to look up divide and conquer, where the origins of that. Um, and what is the? I'm pretty sure it's like some sort of political system or ideology that believes that separating people into smaller and smaller groups is actually beneficial, when in fact
Oh,
I don't believe it is. I think there have been some societies that have done that. I think possibly like Germany, back towards World War II, and I think also the USSR did that. Like that was under when they were under heavy well, they're still very heavily communist, but we got to look that up. Let's look this up right now because I want to
sure.
I want to learn more about this. Let's ask ChatGPT. So, what are the origins of divide, divide and conquer? Conquer. Am I spelling it right? I think so. Okay. We got a lot of stuff popping up here. Yeah, it was from the Art of War. I was correct. I like when I know things. It's nice to know stuff. The phrase divide and conquer is an ancient strategy that has been used throughout history by various military and political leaders. While the exact origin of the phrase is uncertain, okay, the concept of divide one's opponents to weaken them individually is a fundamental principle of strategy and warfare. The strategy of divide and conquer involves breaking up larger concentrations of power or resilience into smaller, more manageable factions that can be more easily controlled. So, yeah, there's definitely a part of this that I was describing that I think you're right too. It sounds like it. This is definitely like a strategy, but I think it's also specifically a political strategy that can be done to a population in order to try to control the population. So it doesn't necessarily
Mm.
mean that's done in warfare in times of war. But
So
anyways,
basically, divide the population into small groups so that they can never unionize.
exactly. And you can control them more easily. Yeah, but I think there's again. We're going to look this up in a second, but I could be wrong. But I think there is a political system that is like that's one of their fundamental or foundational ideologies, and there's a belief that it's actually a good thing for society to do this. But yeah, we're gonna look that up in a moment. I want to read more about this. It's not too much more, but the strategy of divide and conquer involves breaking up. Okay, so we read that. The origins of the phrase divide and conquer can be traced back to ancient military texts and historical accounts. For example, the Chinese military strategist Sun Tzu in his famous treatise, The Art of War, 6th century BC, emphasizes the importance of dividing the enemy's forces and exploiting their weaknesses. Similarly, the Roman statesman Julius Caesar is often credited with employing the strategy of divide. Oh, this is in French, but yeah, divide and rule. Okay, yeah. So you were correct in that phrasing as well. I've never heard it called divide and rule, to consolidate and expand the Roman Empire. Okay, and blah blah blah. It just kind of goes on from there. Interesting. All right, so let's look up. Is there a political what's the word? Strategy or a political ideology?
Ideology.
Yeah, maybe it's just ideology. Ideology that believes in dividing people into smaller groups and believes in dividing people into smaller groups, and this strategy would be beneficial to a population. Maybe I'm wrong about this. Okay. Okay, interesting. So, while there isn't a specific political ideology that explicitly advocates for dividing people into smaller groups as a primary strategy, certain ideologies and political tactics may inadvertently result in divisions with populations. Additionally, some political theories and movements may prioritize the interests of certain groups over others, which can contribute to social fragmentation. Here are some concepts, and we've heard of these, like identity politics, and you can actually see some of this is happening now in our society, right? Identity politics, ethnic nationalism.
Mm.
I'm probably saying this wrong, but
So I think
secessionism.
this word is
Secessionism.
very good to summarize that social fragmentation.
Yeah. Secessionism. What's that? Secessionism is the advocacy, I may be saying that word wrong, but is the advocacy for the withdrawal of separation of a region or group from a larger political entity. While secessionist movements may arise for various reasons, such as cultural autonomy, political independence, or economic grievances, they often involve the fragmentation of larger political entities into smaller groups. There's populism. Okay, let's ask this question. Has there ever been a political movement such as communism I think Marxism, that might fall under Marxism or something like that. How do you spell Marxism? 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 I think it's with an X, isn't it, or something?
Yeah,
Marxism?
MARX.
ISM, right?
Yeah,
Or fascism. Fascism. Now we're really getting to like, oh yeah, I did spell fascism right. That has adopted these philosophies. Sophies. Okay. Okay, yes. Yeah. Okay, so there have been instances where political movements associated with ideologies such as communism, Marxism, or fascism have employed strategies that involve dividing people into smaller groups or fostering social divisions. While these ideologies have different origins, goals, and methods, they have all been associated with movements or regimes that have utilized tactics to create or exploit social divisions for political purposes. Here are some examples, and they kind of give those examples for under communism / Marxism and fascism. And then they have identity politics that's separated. Last question. Have there or are there currently any other political, what did I call it before? It was a good word. Political movements that have adopted these strategies besides the above mentioned? Okay, yes. Okay, so ethno nationalism, religious fundamentalism, you can see that. Populism, we talked about that. Okay, secessionist movements, talked about that. Authoritarianism, which is also very like, I think kind of follows under the umbrella of fascism. Um, these tactics can foster social division by creating an atmosphere of repression and undermining trust in democratic institutions and civil society. So democracy really is a way to try to make sure that these sorts of things don't happen. And the more that you see that these things are happening, I mean, just based upon the information that we're seeing here, the more that you see these sorts of things happening in society, the more that you're starting to steer away from democracy and democratic
mm.
societies. Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay, that's interesting, but it's good to double check because I don't want to assume stuff.
Speaking of ideologies, I have been recently having this ideology, and I don't know why it has not been so popular, or maybe there is some book written on it and I'm not aware of it.
Hmm.
So the ideology is that why doesn't the whole humanity form the companies or organizations that are unionized, which means like we have, how many internet companies do we have? Maybe over 500.
Like you mean internet providers?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot. I think well in Canada there's really two main companies. Yeah.
Right. So they are competing with each other, and then there are 50 other small companies that are competing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they
So
get
my
bought up by the bigger
ideology,
companies too a lot of times.
yeah. So that's basically my ideology. Why can't we just fuse all of them and make one just standard company for all that
Mm.
provides internet at the very basic fare? Because there is no really, they are not wasting energy in the competition right now. There is no marketing or anything. They don't have to do any marketing. They don't need sales people.
Mm. But I think there's a danger to that. It's a good question, but I think there's a number of dangers. So
Of course,
yeah,
there will be downsides, but the world has to be in that mindset that, okay, this is the best thing for us to
mm,
have just one company and all the bright minds working in that company. contributing together rather than competing with each other.
Okay. So I want to explore that a little bit more, but I'm skeptical of that being a solution. I'll tell you why. So one is you're trusting people to not let the like because that's like a global monopoly essentially. So you're trusting people to take certain courses of action that are going to benefit humanity and not the company.
Hmm.
And even if you have regulations around that, then you're trusting the government to have enough oversight and enforcement if things get out of whack. And I think at least in this day and age, it's like, I think a lot of people are questioning how much they can really trust government for a lot of different reasons. So I think that's, yeah, you'd have to put a lot of trust into a company like that. And I don't think that people would be able to do that. I think also competition is kind of healthy. I think there's a lot of, like, it's not perfect. I agree with you. Like having competition kind of spends
In
energy
the
in,
lateral direction.
yeah, in ways that are not necessarily productive to benefiting humanity as a whole. But I also think there's a balance to that. There's this counteractive force that I think is beneficial because there becomes this sort of race to provide more value. If one company is providing more value than the other one and they're gaining more market share, then it puts more pressure on this company to be able to provide even more value than that company somehow. Maybe it's through lower costs or better service or more coverage or some other features or something. So I think that it's kind of important to have that competition. I think there's actually too much risk in having things where you have like one company that does things globally. And I think it's too much control. Like, you've ever heard of, what's the phrase? It's like something like power corrupts and absolute power corrupts absolutely.
Hmm. Okay.
Have you ever heard that before?
No, but it makes sense
Yeah. Like
because.
it's in our human nature. I don't think, like, I think even somebody who, like, we've seen this all throughout history. I think even if you take somebody who's generally like a good natured person who has the best interests in mind for, the people and this sort of thing. I can't remember. I remember reading or watching a documentary on this, but there's sort of this thing that happens. It's a very natural, organic thing that happens where somebody in power, if they're given too much power, they it's like pretty much impossible for it not to corrupt them.
Hmm.
And that's why having like these democratic systems where you are able to elect somebody brand new, it's not perfect because there's a lot of problems with that too, but it kind of puts things, and also making sure that one person can't hold too much power, that there's a lot of bureaucracy and like other entities that have sort of controls over these things that happen in a population, and other entities that have control over these things in a population, and they all have to sort of coordinate things, and it becomes really complicated for any one entity to have too much power and control. It sort of limits the chances of doing that. I think that's why the American system has become so powerful, because that's how it works. It's not perfect, far from perfect, obviously, so many faults. But I think out of all the systems, it's proven to still be the best system out of all the systems that currently exist.
Hmm.
So, yeah, I guess what I'm trying to say is putting too much control in the hands of a company, which ultimately are run by people, I think is dangerous. Now, if it's AI, maybe it might be
Mm.
different. Maybe
Yeah.
an AI system that's constructed a very particular way and it's completely decentralized and its code is set up in such a way that it is forced to act in a particular way and it can't really go above and beyond that way it's coded, then maybe that might work because you get rid of the human aspect of things. And maybe AI is not corruptible. I don't think we've gotten there
Mm.
yet to determine if it's corruptible or not, but maybe AI is, it's not possible to corrupt AI. I don't know. So that might be a solution.
Yeah. So a company that has the best people from that domain managed by AI.
Maybe. Yeah, ultimately they have to like consult with AI before anything can actually get implemented. So even if they're really
Mm.
corrupt, they cannot implement anything without getting the approval of an AI system.
Yeah. So yeah, that can actually work.
And I think I'll take that a step further. I personally think potentially that there's a place for that idea to work in government.
Oh, yeah.
I think it'll take time to get
Because
there.
government already is that umbrella that we are looking for.
Yeah. I think because government essentially has a monopoly, right? Like what happens? The government acts poorly. They like in what like if you take a business is losing trillions of dollars a year for like forever. Like it would never be able to stay in business. Never. It's
Mm.
impossible. It'd be done. There'd be if you have competition of a brand new government and don't they're able to make sure that they don't have any debt whatsoever, they can run things better and do things better, then they'll be voted in like a completely brand new government that completely replaces the old government. But even if you elect different people, it's still the same government. It's still overall the same structure. It's just different people are involved, but it's still the same system. So nothing really changes in that regard. So if you have an AI where the AI is determining the best course of action, and you have to every decision you want to make, you have to get approval from the AI. As long as AI is not corruptible, as long as you cannot corrupt AI, then I think that might be actually potentially very beneficial. It sounds really scary to think about because that's so foreign to.
Yeah, it may sound like sci-fi, but it totally makes sense in my head.
I think so. I think so. Again, it only works if you cannot corrupt the AI, no matter what you do.
What happened in that movie, 1984, George
Oh
Orwell?
man, you know what? Everybody talks about this movie. I've never read the book. I've never. I think there might have been a movie or something. Uh,
Yeah,
I
I've
know
seen the
about
movie.
it. Yeah, I know about it. But I don't know if it's AI. I think it's still people that run things. I think it is.
Well, AI is also a system run by people, so yeah,
Well, yeah. If people are running
AI is
AI, then that's
basically
different.
super connected servers.
Yeah. 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 Um, but I think there's a difference between humans controlling AI and just AI being decentralized, where it's not under the control of a human being, but it has certain parameters in which it can act. And it can't act outside of those. It's just because of the way it's programmed, the nature in which it's programmed. It cannot possibly act outside of those particular parameters in which it's programmed. And once it's programmed, like that's it. Now, I guess you still would have to have some. This is an interesting thing too, because you'd have to have some ability to fork the code. and you'd only want to do, I guess you'd have to get consensus to do that. You'd have to get some sort of consensus still from like human beings to fork. But I think that's still a viable system. I think you can have an AI that acts, and then if you want to change the parameters of that AI, the AI will still exist, but the only way you can change it is to fork the code. And in order to fork the code successfully and have that AI now be the one that sort of, you know, being the one in which humans are are interacting with, is the main sort of hub, if you will, then there has to be some sort of overall agreement that would have to take place, like a vote that would have to take place, I mean, across humanity. You could have, like, doing it that way too, if you decentralize it, you could set up things that easily, that the governance structure is the entire population.
Mm.
You would actually wouldn't even need an actual government anymore.
Yeah, exactly. AI becomes the blood of the government then.
Yeah, and the governance is done by the people, like actually done by the people.
Yeah, yeah, that reminds me of another ideology that I was thinking about. It's again, the government structure is in place, imagine that. And the government employees are not really permanent.
Mhm.
So every common man gets a chance to become the employee for a short period of time, maybe 1 month, and bring about the changes that they can in their locality or their domain or whatever they find suitable or change worthy.
Mm.
That comes from a movie. There's a movie based on that. It's called Nayak.
Nyack.
I think you're gonna love that. So
NYAC?
because
Is that
there
how it's
was
spelled?
one AC,
Is it spelled
uh,
NYAC? Nyack?
Nayak, Nayak.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. NAYAK. Okay, now I've got it. Almost like kayak.
Yeah, rhymes with that.
Yeah.
So Nayak is Hindi word for hero.
Okay.
So this is a small reporter, news reporter, who was given the chance to become the chief minister of the state for 1 day.
Okay.
I think something is stuck here.
Yeah, you're a little stuck, man. Oh, there. Now you're good.
Yeah, yeah. Did you get my voice?
Yep, I can still hear your voice. I could hear your voice perfectly. So they were able to be the chief minister for 1 day or something like that. You said.
Yeah. So
Okay.
in that 1 day, he brought about many changes, which was accepted by the public, of course, and he was named as the hero, the Nayak, basically. And then in the next election, he became the permanent chief minister.
Okay, so like
So yeah,
if somebody's implementing changes that are really benefiting humanity, he could be voted into other positions of power. If he's not making good decisions, then he can be voted out completely or voted and or maybe demoted into other positions of not as much power decision making.
yeah, that could be a part of that system, but I was thinking more along the lines of 30 days, giving the chance to every common man.
Hmm. Okay.
Just like they call in common men for jury duty
Hmm.
for
Right.
important decisions. So
Right.
just similar to that, we can have this political jury of
Yeah.
common men.
The thing is about jury duty is you have to meet very particular criteria in order to serve on a jury.
Yeah, we can set the same similar criteria for this.
Okay.
Like they have to be at least a graduate. They should not have any criminal records, and of course, they need to go through a verification process and police check or a psychological test, even maybe.
Yeah. I think this is again where like AI becomes really powerful as like a verification tool because I think
Hmm.
relying on human beings to verify things is also not a good system, because there's a lot of biases. There's a lot of, like, if you
Yeah,
have, again, any power that you have is as a human being, it's proven that it's corruptible. So if somebody has the power to to approve or verify somebody, and they don't like the person, or they
they
want their
can misuse
buddy,
that.
yeah, there's this other choice potentially of somebody else, and they'd rather, that other person, then
Mm,
they can come up with, maybe try to uncover things that maybe are not there. Maybe there's some misinformation of things. Maybe if they do really like that person, and there are certain things about them that maybe they have a criminal record, but they really like that person, then maybe they don't mention. They kind of cover up the fact that there's some sort of criminal record.
uh,
So I think that when you rely on human beings to do these things, it's very challenging. Very, very challenging. And I think it's becoming increasingly more challenging because, let's say, I don't know, 100, 200, 300, 400 years ago, when information wasn't as easy to uncover, it was much simpler for people of power to suppress information, to be able to spread misinformation and not worry about the speed or rate at which it gets uncovered, the truth can be uncovered, or the speed of which an opposing view can take flight. Now we're in a day and age where even a very small minority of people, we've seen this, the very, very, very small minority of people can have an extremely loud voice. And it can
mm,
seem that there's a lot of people with this particular viewpoint because the voice is so loud and present. And really, they're a very small group of people. And then they have a lot of influence because their voice is so loud. Because they say the right things. They're able to market their ideas really well. They're able to explain them really well. And somebody who doesn't really understand the depths of these things kind of falls into the trap of getting on some bandwagon. Right? And these things can happen instantaneously. So it's becoming much more difficult, I think, nowadays to rely on people for many of these things. I think, for a system like that to work, there would have to be some sort of ability to integrate AI as a tool to take over some of
so
these tasks.
we are getting there. That means so AI being developed is kinda a boon in that sense because it is eventually gonna replace the organization frameworks.
I think some of them, to some regard, I think they'll still be there. I think they'll be there in maybe some form, but I think that there will be like a partnership of sorts, like working alongside AI. I think that you still need some sort of human involvement in certain things, but I think using AI as a tool, that's something that you can rely on, that can be a source of truth, that you can really trust that the systems that are in place with that are like, because the nice thing about code, especially when you open source it, is anybody can look at the code.
Mm.
Anybody can know exactly what they're getting. It's like very black and white. Right? So if there's any sort of people trying to put out misinformation, all you got to do is just look at the code and look how something was scripted. That's all you got to do. So it doesn't matter what anybody else says. It doesn't matter what sort of misinformation people are trying to put out there. The code is the code, and the code doesn't lie.
Mm.
So it can really become like these AI systems could potentially become a source of truth. Now, I don't know enough about AI to say that you could even like put AI within a coding framework. I don't know if it works that way.
Yeah, I think it can because I've seen people working on PyTorch and
Mm.
develop their own AI models.
Mm. Yeah, I'm gonna look that up too right now. Let's look it up.
Because AI, needs to have a language and a data set. These two things are very important for any AI to work.
Such as PyTorch. Okay, yeah. I was right, yeah. Many AI models, including large language models like the one you're interacting with right now, ChatGPT, are built using deep learning frameworks such as PyTorch. PyTorch is an open source machine learning library developed by Facebook's AI research lab, FAIR, that provides a flexible, okay, blah, blah, blah. Does that mean that if there are any disputes or or what's the word? Any disputes or attempts. There's the word. I didn't sleep a lot last night, so struggling with English right now.
Yeah, I was about to ask, is it me that I'm seeing Adam so slow today,
Yeah, like
or is it
I slept
is it
like
really happening, or am I just being having a hangover from Bhang
I
and
I
seeing everything in slow motion?
I slept like 3 hours last night and 3 hours the night before.
Ah,
It's not good. I just couldn't sleep. I just can't sleep. Like my mind
we
races.
could
I
have
wake up, my mind's just going like crazy.
we could have skipped this podcast today. Then
No,
you
no,
could have
no,
said that
no,
you want to sleep badly.
no way, man. No way. Absolutely not. I'm a man of principles. If I say I'm going to do something, I do it. That's just how I am. I don't necessarily expect other people to be that way because I know there's a downfall to that. But that's just how I've been. If I say I'm going to do something, I do it. Okay.
That's great, but I hope you are taking care of your body.
Oh yeah, I'll be fine. I'll be
That's
fine.
good.
Yeah, I'll be okay. Okay, so does that mean that if there's any disputes or attempts to spread misinformation about the parameters in which an AI system can operate, someone would simply have to look at the code to determine for themselves. This is quite the question. This is like the biggest run-on sentence anybody could ever think of. Luckily, AI systems are totally okay with run-on sentences.
Even they can even accommodate spelling mistakes.
Yeah, it's what. One time I had ChatGPT open while I was listening to a video, and sometimes some videos I listen to at like 2 times the speed, and some people are already speaking really fast, but so it's speaking like crazy fast, and then the voice recognition part of the software is on, and even at 2 times the speed, someone's speaking crazy fast, it gets every word, every single word. It's insane.
By the way, this is what I'm having right now. This is Parleji. Can you see that?
Yeah, I can see it. I'm looking this way at you actually because over
Uh,
here is the video recording software, and then over
yeah,
here is where I'm typing
is
everything on ChatGPT.
ChatGPT.
So yeah, when I'm over, and I did that way because I can type at ChatGPT and I at least can still look as if I'm looking at you. But if I actually want to see you, then I'd have to look
Yeah.
here.
Hi.
Hi.
So yeah, so this is supposed to be world's largest selling biscuit,
Okay.
Parleji,
Okay.
and this
Hold
is
it
the
up. Hold it
gold
up.
version of that.
Hold it up like over here. Oh yeah, there you go. Okay, cool. Nice.
And
Nice.
this kid that you're looking at,
Yeah.
she is now passed away.
Oh geez.
Actually, this pic is 60 years old, maybe 50, 60 years old.
Oh wow.
So
Crazy.
that kid grew up and she became an old lady, a grandma, and few years back she passed away. But
Okay.
the pic is still there.
Okay.
On every pack of Parle-G that is being sold, there's the same pic.
I want to try some. Send me
You'll
some.
love this.
You have to send me some.
I'm sure Amazon has that.
I'm sure. Yeah, most likely. I could probably look it up.
You're gonna love it with tea or coffee.
Okay. Send me. send me, like, type it out. Like, you don't have to do it right now, but type it out for me on Signal when you get a chance. I'll look it up. I'll see if I
S-
can buy some.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Oh, by the
So,
way, yeah,
yeah.
that reminds me that I had to remind you to remind me of something.
Oh,
What
yeah.
was that?
I totally forget. I have no idea.
Yeah, but there was something, right?
I remember there was something.
Okay, we'll come to that.
Yeah.
I don't think I remember that clearly, but yeah, let's go back to what we were searching for.
Yeah, I have no clue. What it was, we can always look back at the last video to try to figure it out at some point, and make a note of it. But anyways, back to this. Uh, so someone would simply have to look at the code to determine. Okay, so does that mean that if there are any disputes or attempts to spread misinformation about the parameters in which AI systems can operate, someone would simply have to look at the code to determine for themselves. Oh, to determine the accuracy of the claims. There we go. I think that's worded well enough. Yeah. So here we go. Looking at the code of an AI system including its parameters, can provide insights into how the system operates as help verify certain claims about its behavior. However, there's a however, it's important to note that understanding and analyzing the code of complex AI systems, especially large-scale models like those based on deep learning, can be challenging and may not always provide a complete picture of the system's behaviors. Here are a few factors to consider. I'll just give a high-level overview. Complexity of the code, opaque or proprietary models, black box nature of deep learning, verification and testing, potential for misinformation. In some cases, individuals or groups may intentionally spread misinformation or make false claims about AI systems, including their parameters and behavior. Critical analysis and independent verification by experts are essential for debunking misinformation and ensuring accurate. So I wonder if then you would need, this maybe becomes a problem, because then you have to rely on the experts, again, people, to
Mm.
be a source of truth. So then what do you have? Do you have AI systems that determine the accuracy of the code for you? But then you have to know if those systems are accurate, and then it kind of can go on forever like that.
So basically, it would be run by AI, but it would be maintained by human engineers periodically.
Yeah, I wonder if there's a way around that. If there's a way to set things up such that the only way to change the code is to create a fork and then get like an agreement from people if they are willing to adopt that forked code. Like I know, for example, I know that Bitcoin works that way.
Mm.
Now, Bitcoin's obviously a lot simpler than an AI model, but Bitcoin works such that like there's a code, so you know exactly what you're getting. You know exactly how it functions. You know exactly how it works, and there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And the only way to change the code is you'd have to have a majority vote. But the majority vote would never, because the way that it's designed is like nobody would, like, in order to put a majority vote in, you have to be a Bitcoin holder.
Mm.
And nobody, like, you'd have to get a large group of people unless somebody owned 51%. But even if somebody owned 51%, you wouldn't want to change, it wouldn't be in your benefit to change the code, because in the nature of the code itself is the benefit to having Bitcoin in the first place. So if you were to change the code, then you essentially would be devaluing the worth of what Bitcoin is doing. So there's no benefit in doing that. But in any case, you could create like a fork, and then people could have a choice. Like there's already been forks of Bitcoin. So then you can have people that decide to adopt that particular technology over the other one. And then it becomes a competition. Like which one in a fair market is determined to have more value? Well, that's easy to figure out. It's based upon how much money is put into the system. How much are people investing in it? Right? And you can see that.
Mhm.
So maybe, having AI systems run on a blockchain like that, it's completely decentralized. Maybe over time there'll be a way to come up with much more simpler code that's easier to write and easier to verify. So you don't have to necessarily rely on experts to do that. That you have to trust. You
But
can,
then
yeah,
that have to be the perfect coding language,
yeah.
because if there is any upgrade in that, then AI is not gonna know that upgrade on itself,
Hmm,
because the humans are basically developing that coding language. So
right.
until that perfect coding language is developed, I don't think AI can take over.
Hmm, maybe. I don't know. It's a very complex issue.
Hmm,
It's interesting. I'm going to change the subject a little bit.
sure. What are
So
we going towards?
Um, I want to talk about video games because I like to look up stuff like what are some of the things that a lot of people are talking about nowadays that seem to be
Mhm.
talking about what are some topics that seem to be getting a lot of attention. And video games, of course, are generally a hot topic across the board. There's some games that are obviously more popular than others, but it made me wonder, just like if you play, because I don't know if we've had this conversation before. If you play any video games, what kind of video games do you play? Do you play them on your phone? Do you have a console? Do you play them on PC? Do you just not play video games at all?
This is the game I play. I'll show you. Ah, yeah. Can you see this?
What is that?
It's 2048. You have to move around the bricks, and the bricks will keep on adding and doubling until you reach that highest number of 2048.
2048. I still don't understand.
So these are powers of 2, two,
Okay.
4, 8, 16, 32,
Okay.
64.
Okay.
So you have to keep on moving these blocks so that they can merge and add. So now you can see two blocks, these are 4 and 4. If I move them, they will combine to form an 8.
Oh,
And
okay.
another block will appear, and we have to move that around until we keep on merging them.
Okay. And then
So
what's the objective?
to just go higher and higher, that's the objective.
Why is that difficult? Because all you gotta do is just take the previous block and add it to the other blocks.
Because sometimes there is no space to move around.
And you don't know where the block is going to be placed
Yeah,
until you see it.
the new block can be at a random place.
Yeah, at any of the available open slots.
Yeah.
Got it. So the objective is to get to the point where all the blocks are filled in, essentially. The last block appears in the last possible space.
Yeah. And if there is no way to merge them, then the game is over
Sure.
and you have your particular high score.
Interesting. Now, can you only merge a new? Okay, so here's a series of blocks. I've got this one here. This, like, let's say it's just going down a straight line. Can I merge a block with any of the current blocks that are already merged, or can I only merge it with like the last block or the first block, or like what's the rule there?
The rule is that you can only merge identical blocks. So
Oh, it
2
has to
and
be
2 can become
identical.
4.
I gotcha.
4 and 4 becomes 8.
Okay. Okay. Gotcha. So I could also have a strategy where I have two sets or more of blocks that are on their own. Like say a set of, I don't know, a 2 and 2, so now it's a 4, and another set that's, I don't know, like an 8 and 8, so it's 16. I could have like two sets like that, and I don't have to keep combining them to create one larger block, right?
Ultimately, you will have to combine them. Otherwise, you will run out of spaces.
Yeah. But I'm just saying you can go with that strategy if you wanted to in order to try to get to the point where you've got all the spaces filled out.
So you are saying that we will keep all twos together, fours together. Is that what you're trying to say?
No, because as you add the fours, it becomes, I guess,
Eights.
16. Oh, it becomes eights. Okay, so it's added, not multiplied. So it's added.
Hmm.
Okay, so no, not necessarily, because I know like once you put the fours together, now it's eight. So now you can only take an eight and match it with another eight. You were saying, right?
Hmm.
But if I have, let's say, one set of blocks that are like two twos, so that's now four, and then I have two other sets of blocks that are both fours, but now they're combined, now they're eight. So I got a four and an eight set of blocks. I can have that going on, right? I don't necessarily have to keep combining it into one larger row. I could have two separate sets of blocks for a little bit of time. I mean, eventually the
Yeah,
idea is that you're going to want to combine them, but I could do it that way as well, I think, right?
yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. We can move around as much as we like to, but every time we move, a new block is introduced.
Oh, okay. So
So it keeps
that's
on
every
getting
time. So
complicated.
I was thinking like every time you add a block to one of the current rows that you already have going on, that's when a new block generates.
Hmm.
Gotcha. So if you have to move a block, let's say two spaces to get over to one of the current blocks to kind of combine them, then that means you're going to have two blocks in that time that get generated.
No, so the other rule in this game is that it doesn't go in steps like that.
Mhm.
Once you slide it down, all the bricks will slide in that particular direction. You see?
Oh, so you just do it like that. Got
Yeah. So
it.
you are basically throwing them against the wall,
Okay. Gotcha. Interesting.
and any brick that can combine will combine.
Okay.
Otherwise, they'll stay where they are.
And the new block that gets introduced, it could be of any number value as well.
Yeah. Basically,
Powers
usually
of
it's
two.
two or four.
Oh,
Two or
okay.
four. That's lowest number, not the highest one.
Okay, won't give you like an eight or something like that.
No.
Okay, two or four.
So it's an
Okay.
interesting game. These are the kind of games I enjoy. These are simple ones and intellectual ones.
Okay. So
So
you're
in
a,
short, I'm not a fan of computer games.
so you're the type of guy that likes to play chess.
Yeah, I would, but I often don't find anyone around to play chess with.
I bet you, I bet you, maybe we should try this sometime. I bet you we could probably find a platform to play chess together and we could do that on the podcast.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure maybe Skype has that feature itself.
Yeah, I don't know if they have, do they have games on Skype?
Games, maybe they should have games, right?
They should. I agree they should, but do they? I don't think they do. But I think we could
I don't.
go,
There might be some extension or something that we can install
maybe,
that can become part of the screen.
maybe. But you could probably just it might be just as easy to just, I think there's like chess.com or one of these, and we could just play straight off of there. Yeah,
Yeah, but I'm not really that good.
perfect. I'll
In case
destroy you then.
because I can see you are excited about it
I like playing
and
chess.
thinking that I might be a good competitor, but no,
No, that's
I'm
fine.
not.
I'm the type of player that I like to prey on very weak people.
Mm.
I'm not nice.
When it comes to chess.
But then I like to teach people. I like to say, okay, so like this is how I won. This is where it happened. This is where I got the upper
Yeah,
hand, and then show you so that I like to see people get better. That to me is fun. Like I like taking somebody that doesn't, even as somebody that does not know how to play chess at all, and then play with them a bunch and gradually watch them get better and better at the game. That's kind of
yeah,
cool.
sure. So next
Yeah.
week we can definitely plan a chess match.
Yeah. Why not? Yeah. That'd be a lot of fun. Probably do a whole bunch of games. So you probably are also the type that likes to play Sudoku.
Yeah, I would love that.
Yeah,
Sudoku.
yeah, you like Sudoku. Are you comfortable playing like the hardest possible level of Sudoku?
I haven't reached there yet.
Hmm.
I used to have a book of Sudoku puzzles, but
Hmm.
I don't know. I think I misplaced it or something.
Okay.
So I had completed. first few, maybe 10, 20 pages of that.
Okay, cool. Yeah, Sudoku's cool. Connect Four. You ever play Connect Four?
What's that?
Connect Four is where you have it's like a grid, and
So connect the dots and you have to make squares.
yeah, we have to make not squares, but it's like there's a grid system, and you drop like imagine the grid system is vertical,
Mm.
okay, and so you drop these tiles
Hmm.
down into the grid, and so it has to fall to the bottom. Now, if there's already a tile at the bottom, then it would fall to the row on top of it, or the column, I guess, on top of it, right? So the idea is you want to connect four of the tiles, either in a line going horizontally,
Oh,
in a
okay,
line going
okay.
vertically, or a line going diagonally. Whoever does that first
Yeah.
wins.
Is it is it like a Candy Crush?
Yeah, I guess there's a similarity to that, although Candy Crush
Uh,
is more sophisticated because there's more variables. This is, I guess, a very simplified version of that, perhaps. Yeah.
okay. I used to play another game that's called Jewel Tetris.
Okay.
That's similar to Connect for
Okay.
Jewel Tetris.
Okay. Tetris is good. You play just Jewel
Hmm.
Tetris, or did you ever play the original Tetris?
Both.
Okay. 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 And I don't know Jewel Tetris.
Mm.
How does it work?
It
Like you create a line, and then like you have the same pieces, the same.
so they will send bars of jewels
Okay.
and you have to arrange them. And once you have combined four of them, again vertically, horizontally, in any way, then it will disappear and they will rearrange and so on.
Okay. That four of the same jewel.
Yeah.
And is it only in the form of a line shape, or do they have all the Tetris shapes?
As far as I remember, it was all lines.
Okay, interesting.
So there would be lines of three
Yeah.
or two. I don't remember the game correctly because it's been many years that I played.
Okay.
Mm.
Because that would be way harder if they also included the Tetris shapes on top of it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure shapes weren't the part of it. They were
Okay.
just straight lines of threes.
Okay. Interesting. Cool. Okay. So you never played like any games like Call of Duty or Fortnite or any of these types of games?
I I've played Hitman
Okay, you played
and
Hitman. Nice.
I've played Medal of Honor. That's
Medal of
again
Honor is great.
similar to Call of Duty, I think.
Yeah, there's some similarities. Yeah. Yeah. Medal of Honor is a lot of fun. I like that
Yeah,
game.
Medal of Honor was very good. It was like I had to complete the whole mission, and
Yeah. I like the fact that
it wa-
you can
and it
also
was taken from a real World War II story.
yeah, yeah. There's a game, I don't remember the name of it now. Operation Flashpoint.
Okay,
This was
is it
really
similar?
cool. So, sort of. I mean, it's an army warfare kind of game, but you have a whole troop that you are commanding.
Hmm.
And so you can tell each individual player to go a certain direction, and you kind of have to call out to them as you're fighting different, like as you're moving throughout the mission. You you want to make calls out to them so you can like tactically make the best move. And now the interesting thing about too is you would have like it would be a very open map, and you have many different routes you could take, like pretty much infinite routes. So
Hmm.
you want to like get to know the mission well enough that you understand the most optimal route, because you got to get like typically from A to B is the mission, or you got to like find one particular player and kill that particular player, or you've got to free a hostage or something. So the only way to get there and do that is you're going to have to encounter some enemy forces. Now, some enemy forces are stationary, some of them are activated based upon the location that you're in. Sometimes enemy forces, if they see you, they'll call out to other enemy forces. So the variability is quite extensive.
Hmm.
Yeah, so that one was pretty cool. I like that one. That one's really complicated. Like it's
That's that sounds similar to Hitman.
hmm. Hitman's different though because you're like on your own.
Okay, so this is a team mission.
This is team. Like again, you're making you typically would go in with an entire unit. So it'd be like let's say like 7 or 8 of you, and the other ones are like they're like there's the other ones are computer players,
Hmm.
and you're the one that has to like call out to the other computer. Like you can decide to like say take one of your guys or two of your men and send them to a different part of the map to do something else, or you can have like you can have certain parts of your team like flank in different directions to try to like yeah, depending on like the tactics you wanted to use in order to get the mission completed. So it's like very intricate, very intricate. In that Hitman's different because you're just by yourself and you're trying to figure out. It's almost like a puzzle. You're trying to
Yeah.
figure out without any sort of help, very little information, like how to get a certain objective complete. And you can either choose
Hmm.
to just run and gun it, or like be really stealthy, or like combination, or whatever. So that's very different. Yeah, Hitman's good though. So did you ever play like any of these battle royale games?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, like Fortnite. You probably heard of Fortnite.
No,
No, you haven't
not
heard.
much of a game person.
Oh,
In fact,
okay.
this Hitman, I think I had played 15 years back.
Wow. Okay, so you played like the original.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, that's a long time ago. I remember that him and that him was great. Yeah. Um. Okay, so a battle royale, I'll tell you. So there's a few battle royale games that are popular. One is Call of Duty has a battle royale called Warfare, and then there's PUBG, and then there's Fortnite. So the premise is all exactly the same. It
Okay, so
just
yeah, Battle Royale is PUBG. I've heard of PUBG, I've seen PUBG, but I've never tried it.
okay. Do you understand like the premise of it and how it works?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
they are skydropped,
Yeah.
a group of it. They
Yeah.
have to look for ammunitions and kill the other parties,
Yeah.
and the
Last one
winner gets
standing.
chicken dinner.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, the last one standing is the winner, essentially. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's a great concept. It's fantastic. So Call of Duty has their own version of this called Warfare. Then there's something called Fortnite, which is a lot more like cartoony. And you like
Okay.
build stuff too. You can like build a base as you're trying to fight off somebody. So you like as somebody's trying to shoot, you can like build a wall really quickly.
Oh,
Yeah. Or you can like build like a wall like stairs and like some people are really fast with it. So, and then somebody like they don't know exactly where you can shoot down the person's walls and things that they're building as they're building it, but then you don't know where they are, right? They can build a wall and just like run away. Yeah,
I don't understand the obsession of people with Roblox.
yeah, it's for kids. I've never really played it.
I sure because I've seen adults playing that and playing it obsessively for hours.
Yeah,
What does he?
I think there are
What is
some adults.
Roblox?
I don't know. We can look it up. We'll look it up. But I know it's like more. I know the target. I think the target market is more for kids. I think there are adults that play it too. Like there's adults that play Minecraft and all this, but I think it's more for kids. But let's look it up. We're gonna look it up right now. Um, okay, so I don't even know how to phrase the question. How does Roblox work?
What even is Roblox?
Yeah. All right. So Roblox is a platform that allows users to create, share, and play games. Here's a brief overview of how Roblox works. So the platform. Roblox is accessible through various platforms, including PC, blah, blah. Account creation. To use Roblox, you must create an account, whatever. Game creation,
No, wait,
Roblox.
that's they are telling about the Roblox company or website. They are not. I think they are not
No, here's
speaking
the
about the game.
Yeah, here's gameplay. Users can browse and play a wide variety of games created by other users. These games cover diverse genres, including adventure, simulation, role playing, racing, and more. Players can join games individually or with friends, interact with other players, and compete in multiplayer experiences. Okay, so you're creating your own games. Overall, platform for creativity, collaboration. So overall, Roblox provides a platform for creativity, collaboration, and so. Okay, tell me more about the gameplay and what people do in the game. How about that? There's a better question. Okay, so Roblox gameplay can vary widely depending on the specific game being played. Since Roblox is a platform for user generated content, there are thousands of games created by players with diverse genres, themes, and mechanics. Here are some common types of gameplay experiences found on Roblox. Adventure games. So adventure games on Roblox typically involve exploring virtual worlds, solving puzzles. So people just create their own sort of worlds, I guess, and their own games within those worlds for players to just mess around with. It sounds like they create simulation games. Simulation games simulate real world activities and experiences. Role playing games, RPGs on Roblox allow players to assume the roles of characters and engage in immersive storytelling experiences. There's obstacle courses that people create. There's multiplayer types of games. There's little mini games, social hangouts. So it might be a place that people just go to like hang out with their friends, I guess virtually. And just building in creativity. In addition to playing games, many players enjoy building and creating their own content in Roblox. The Roblox Studio provides powerful tools for designing 3D environments, scripting interactive elements, and bringing creative ideas to life. Interesting. I've heard of people like doing stuff where they create a computer inside of Roblox, or maybe it was Minecraft, or I'm not sure.
So they build a virtual computer,
Yeah,
and what does that do?
I don't know. I don't know. You can do like calculations on it, I guess, or I don't know. I didn't look too much into it.
Again, on the same note, I don't understand the obsession with Discord,
Okay.
which is the
So,
gamer's favorite, if I'm correct.
yeah. It's like chat rooms. So, yeah, I mean, I can understand it because it's an easy place that you can, if you want to, anonymously hang out with your friends and just keep up with them, especially like ones that you meet virtually, and you want to interact with them in a safe environment, and especially it's cross-platform. So, let's say you meet like one friend on like playing a PC game, and you meet another from playing an Xbox game, you meet another from playing a PlayStation game or whatever, then you can find each other and all communicate with each other on this one on these chat rooms that you can create that are called servers. Yeah. And then you can invite they can invite their friends to it, and you can organize things, right? So you can organize, maybe you want to do like a specific thing in a game together, but it's not just game focused. Like there's a lot of different servers. There's like dating servers. There's one like or just for, I bet you there's one like just for your city that people go to find out about events in that are going on in the city. um yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's basically Reddit, but on chat.
Yeah, you could think of it that way. I guess so. Yeah, yeah. And you just chat. I mean, there's nothing that keeps track of the conversations like Reddit does. Um, so, well, I guess there
Because
are. Yeah, because I guess if you're
Reddit
typing
recently
out,
came up with
yeah,
chat groups
okay. Yeah, I guess there would be something
earlier.
that's keeping track of your conversation because you're typing. You can type stuff out. It's not just voice chats. You can type stuff out, and then I guess you could look back and see history of the conversation. Yeah.
Okay, so chat groups.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. 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 It's I've been on some of those. I mean, I find them they're really good if you're playing a particular game and you Like there's certain games where um, you might want to be playing with like a particular group of people, and then you want to be able to easily organize a time to play together. So this is a great way to do it. Yeah.
Okay. I don't know. I found it very overwhelming, Discord.
It's a little bit of a learning curve to it.
And I found that some of the chat groups can easily turn into NSFW,
NSFW. What's that?
not safe for work.
Oh, yeah. Um, what's interesting is the last job I had, they had their own Discord group for
Hmm.
like everybody in
Okay.
the company.
So, was it useful?
Yeah, yeah, it was really useful. And they had like different chat rooms inside of it. So that way like certain people from the organization could communicate with um they can communicate a little bit more widely with their whole entire
Wait,
team.
wait, wait. So, a server is the place where all the people are connected.
Yeah,
It's
so
like a small social group,
it could be very large. It could be
and
as large as you want it to be. So a server is
they have different chat rooms within the server.
yeah, exactly.
Okay,
Yeah.
so you can create a chat room based on the topic. So
Yeah,
every chat room will have a different topic.
potentially. I mean, it depends on how the creator organizes the server. So typically it's somebody who manages the server and decides the nature in which the server will be run. You could also assign people as administrators and they could make certain decisions. You can create all kinds of different roles as a creator, and each role could have a different ability to do certain things within the server, maybe to create chat rooms or to upload certain things or
Now, how do I implement these rules? Because let's say I have to implement a rule
yeah.
that nobody will use the letter A
I don't think you
randomly.
can go into that much depth.
So, how are these rules classified?
So, I mean, a rule, you could have a rule where somebody's allowed to edit the current rules of how the server will be run.
So, technical rules.
Yeah, like, or you could have a rule about like somebody has the ability to delete and create different chat rooms within the server. Or maybe a rule where they have the ability to accept people being coming into the server. And I mean, depending on how your server is set up, but if your server is set up such that somebody has to be accepted into the server, then you could have certain people that are allowed to do that, and certain people that are not. So you have
Mm.
all these sort of roles that you can create, and then you can, as people are part of the server, you can decide what role each person fits into. And if you don't assign them any role, then you can have a rule for if somebody doesn't have a role, what their abilities are to do within that server. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And typically the server will have like the conventional thing to do is you'll have like a page for rules, like how the server operates and what you're allowed to do and what you're not allowed to do. And if you do certain things you're not allowed to do, you could be banned or kicked from the server. Then there's like usually people have a spot for announcements, so something that everybody should be aware of. You can just check there periodically. Then you have like a
So,
variety of chat
it's
rooms.
similar to a WhatsApp community.
Yeah, perhaps. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. It's actually pretty good. It is pretty good, but it does take a little while to get to wrap your head around it because it's not really like the way it's also formatted can seem very strange and cumbersome and so foreign, and you're not really even sure where you are or like what
Mm.
you're clicking on. You don't understand how it really works. It seems very non-user friendly, but it's like as you just play around with it, it starts to make more and more sense of how it's set up. It just takes a little while for it to connect.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I really found it overwhelming and I thought it's not for me.
It's okay.
Sometimes even Reddit feels that way. So I have been off Reddit for I think 1 month now.
I don't even use Reddit.
Yeah, I used to have some check some updates on that, and it used to have some pretty good threads and subreddits.
Okay.
But then it started to feel overwhelming. Like how deep can this go? How deep can this
Oh
go? It
yeah.
keeps on.
Oh yeah.
It keeps on
Forever.
going.
Forever.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I've heard that those communities can be pretty wild.
Yeah, there are all kinds of communities.
So Fortnite. So now you've heard of Fortnite because there was this thing where Fortnite there was maintenance done on Fortnite and people were talking about it and it went. Here it is. The server of the popular video game Fortnite is still down just before the launch of Chapter 5 Season 2 of the game. Epic Games, owner of Fortnite, currently has servers for Fortnite shut down for scheduled maintenance ahead of the release. This is like a big deal. A lot of people were really upset about the server being down.
Yeah, any server when goes down, people start to get anxious. Like
Yeah,
recently, Facebook was down. Facebook goes keeps going down for an hour or so.
I never use Facebook.
Yeah, me neither. But I keep hearing about people still being on it. I don't know what they do on that.
I don't know. I guess they're sharing videos, looking up content, whatever. All right, man. It's 12:09 here, which means
Yeah,
I am going to get ready for bed.
of course you should.
I need to try to sleep properly tonight. And yeah, this is fun. This is good. A pleasure.
Yeah, it was a bit slow, very sluggish today, but yeah,
That's okay.
still it was good that we kept our word and met on a Saturday morning
I
for me
agree.
and Friday night for you.
I agree. No, it's working out well. Let's keep it up. Let's keep going. Let's see what happens. Let's see if we can get another subscriber. And if any of you, if there's anybody still watching, it's gonna be like my thing to say at every single one of like the end of every single one of these. If there's anybody still watching, let us know. It'd be nice to know that you're here with us, hanging out. And if there's anything in particular that you thought was cool about the podcast, let us know so we can make it
Even
more
an
valuable for you.
emoji,
Yeah,
yeah, even an emoji is fine. Just
yeah,
let us know you're listening, you're watching.
yeah. What is the what is the name of today's podcast?
So three topics.
Yeah, I like three. Three's a good number.
So so one was AI ideology, that we wanna implement AI as the center of the framework.
AI ideology. I like that.
What would be the second one?
What did we talk about at first? When we were first talking, there was something that we were talking about that made me go, that'd be a cool topic.
About gods?
I think it was before that.
How do we remember?
I don't remember. But you were talking about also the cannabis based drink.
Yeah, that was part of the festival.
Yep, I know. But you were talking about that.
Hmm.
So maybe drinking cannabis.
Okay, we can put that.
So AI
Or
based was again?
yeah, or you can even say Bhang.
Okay. A lot of people are not going to know what that is. I mean, I thought there's so many
Mm,
people that listen anyways. Now put in
mm-hmm.
brackets. Put in brackets.
Yeah,
You have,
cannabis juice Bhang.
yeah, cannabis juice. Bhang. How do you spell it? Bang?
Bhang.
Bhang. I gotta totally write
Bhang.
this down. I'm writing this down because if I don't write it down, there's no way in the world I'm gonna remember this. So, cannabis juice bong. Okay, what was the other one? AI
Ideology.
ideology. Okay,
And one more.
and
Games.
and Roblox.
Roblox.
Okay, done. We got our title. Episode 5.
Great.
Thank you so much for hanging out as always, and I look forward to seeing you
No,
next
thank you
week.
for staying up late. And
Yeah,
sorry for starting late today.
I forgive you.
You're a nice man.
Well, just wait till you get to know me better. Wait till I play chess with you. Then I won't be so nice.
Yeah, that's 1 week from now.
Yeah,
If anyone is watching and is a chess fan, remember to tune in.
yeah, be good. We just start off that way. Just start off the game of chess. Why not? All right, man.
Right. See you next week. Have fun. Have a fun weekend.
We'll do. You too. Bye for
Bye.
now.